and my ideal school, well, in my ideal school, you would wake up and classes will start at 9 o'clock, not 7 o'clock in the morning, and then doors will be unlocked and there will be no metal detectors or police. You can just easily walk through, and your first class period is all about how the student is doing or what's going on at home, like just kind of like getting grounded and centered before your day starts emotionally, and then focusing on learning that's relevant to their lives, learning hard skills and also critical thinking skills. And then if you need to go to the restroom, there's gender neutral restrooms everywhere. You can have your pick. Just providing an environment that's safe for all students, and by all I mean students who are Black, Latino, Indigenous, gay, straight, everything in between. That's really important. And yeah, that would be my ideal school. Oh, and it wouldn't hurt if there were some awesome after school activities, and also a place for students who might not have a home to go to after school, or students who might not have meals to get after school. There's a way for them to bring home lunch, bring home dinner for a family if need be. Just make sure that school is very connected to the community and knows its needs so it can meet it. That's my ideal school.
All right, so my name is Reginald Harris. I'm with Black Organizing Project out of Oakland, California. So I'd like to say that what we do at Black Organizing Project is focus on developing Black leadership within the community of Oakland. The way that we're doing that right now is engaging community around some of the issues that they care about the most. Education and policing in general is a large issue that we hear when we're doing outreach and when we're doing listening circles. And so we've engaged the community around that. It's important that we're doing it this way because we're engaging folks on the level where they're at and building them up into leadership communities through this sort of engagement to let folks within the Black community know that Black folks can and do lead in their communities. We don't need to be saved, we don't need anybody parachuting in, and we can achieve great schools. And through Black Organizing Project, we have led groundbreaking legislation and policy agreements in Oakland, member-led 100%, and now we're pushing to make sure that those wins and those policy decisions are implemented and executed. At Black Organizing Project, the reason that what we're doing is very, very important is because as you see right now in modern day politics, out of the 52 million Black people we have in this country, you couldn't find one to run in a primary. And so we're developing those pipelines because we can't depend upon our establishment institutions to develop those pipelines for leadership for ourselves. So thank you.
My name is CJSF Harris. I'm a member of People Acting for Community Together, also known as PACT in Miami, Florida. One of our biggest successes here today, it has been having the Miami-Dade County Public Schools eliminating all out-of-school suspensions in Miami-Dade County. This has been a 3+ year effort that stemmed off of our concern of neighborhood safety in our communities. In our research, we saw a correlation between juvenile crime in our community and the issues of students being suspended out of schools in those same communities at an alarming, disproportionate rate. So we figured in order to tackle one, we'll tackle the other. We met with certain school board members, especially those that are in the districts where we see the biggest disparities, and organize our ask for these officials in power to make changes based off our research. And one of our asks was to ensure that that suspensions don't exceed 10% of the student population by the year 2015. So by the year, around the end of last year, the superintendent of Miami-Dade County Public Schools did release an article stating that he was not only eliminating all out-of-school suspensions, but he will be looking into the disparities in suspensions. as well as increasing the amount of counselors in the schools.
My name is Edward Turner. I'm the education organizer for the Texas Organizing Project in Dallas, Texas. The reason I feel that this work should be led by youth and parents is because it gives them the ownership of their future. By having youth who have ownership of their own education allows them to use their innovative thoughts to decide what type of education and what type of future they want. As parents being a part of their process, it allows them to get ownership and also encouragement to their students and their children to move forward with the education in the future they desire for their own kids. So therefore, I believe that youth and parents should always lead these efforts when it comes to education.
So, hi, my name is Khalees Osula. I currently work for the Boston Student Advisory Council as alumni staff. And the question is, what has been your organization's biggest success to date? And one of our biggest successes is the Know Your Rights campaign, which allows students to know their rights as Boston Public Schools students. We actually have an application now. We used to have like thousands of pamphlets, but now we have an application that everyone and anyone is able to download onto their phone and use it as reference to know their rights as students. You can download it at www.bostonstudentrights.org, and that's our biggest success to date.
My name is Tavon Bridges. I'm with the Youth Organizing Institute. I think our work is going to the place of just like a single word like unity. Over the past 20-15 years, major support from the Black and Brown community coming together, working on systemic issues with the recent bills of immigrant targeting bills in North Carolina. I showed out to a lot of them, even though I only speak one language. I speak English, and a lot of the chants and stuff were in Spanish. But as I progressed and as I kept going out to these things, I started learning Spanish. I started saying the chants. I still know some of them to this day. So, just like I feel like the reason why they're getting to this point is because I feel like there was I don't know who exactly said it, but there was a great saying where when one of us hurts, we all hurt. And really just seeing like the things that are going on in North Carolina and seeing some of the things that are being passed and seeing some of the things that are being done to our children in our schools, it's just like we're just fed up with people just laying down or people being separated and work like this is my issue, kind of coming together like this is an issue that affects me, and really just bringing it down, boiling it down to language won't be a barrier for me to stop and not do this work. And because maybe the issue doesn't affect me, but it affects maybe my family member, it affects some of my children, it affects one of my friends. So I feel like that's just really been a big reason why our work has been translated into, we've always been like working with our partners, but it's just really big on now with unity between Black and Brown people and supporting each other and asking each other what we need. So.
Good afternoon, I'm Lisa Muhammad from North Carolina Alliance for Educational Justice, and I believe this movement should be led by parents and students or young people because we are the ones most desperately impacted by the overuse of discipline or harsh discipline policies within the school. Our students, I'm speaking from my standpoint as a parent, are the ones who are being pushed out of schools. As African American or Black person in this country, starting from when my ancestors were brought here to now, white supremacy has been the problem, the evil that has impacted us in the most negative of ways. And so I feel like my experiences has to be the thing that leads to change that has to happen in this country.
My name is Ricardo Martinez. I'm co-executive director of Padres Jóvenes Unidos, and our work is intergenerational. We work with parents, adults, and youth, and we believe that really was the source of the strength for any change. They have to be involved in any change. We have to from the beginning, not the afterthought. But we all talk about sustainability, about to sustain any kind of work. This is doing a little bit about the folks that are affected mostly by that work. So that's going to be our priority. Policymakers are great people, and also policymakers who have to do it.
The work has to be led by parents and youth. We are the ones most affected. If our youth aren't successful in what they do, it impacts our community from a holistic perspective. So if we don't have, if our youth aren't able to go into bigger things and better things, they can't put back into our lives. And where we live will not be where we want to live. And it's so important that those most impacted are in the front of this.
Hi, my name is Ashley Franklin, and I'm an organizer with the Labor Community Strategy Center. And I wanted to share a little bit about what is my work and where is it going. So at the Labor Community Strategy Center, we've been having intense conversations about what's happening to the Black community, and not specifically about school, police, or police brutality, but the overall conditions of Black folks in this country. What does it mean to go to school that really wants to disinvest in your entire education, that wants to train you to be a worker? What does it mean to live in communities that are being gentrified, where your parents can't even afford rent or their home? So what we think is a major interjection into what we're seeing in society is looking at occupation. So occupation meaning the presence of officers inside of our hoods, as well as the presence of officers inside of schools. We see that schools are a micro of a much macro, which is our world and our society and our community. So if we can impact and change what our schools look like, then we can impact and change what our world looks like. So we've been going heavily on the 1033 program to end the militarization of our schools, meaning not simply give the weapons back, but give all the weapons back, since the program has been in existence since 1997, as well as discontinue the relationship with the program. So since our school police department has a relationship with the program, we think that our schools are educational homes, not a place of suppression and war zones. Thus, they don't need military weapons. So we have been waging a war against our school districts in their participation in this, but we also see this as a national fighting struggle, because 1033 represents a program of counterinsurgency. When our people demand power, respect, and rights, our government has always responded with brutality. We saw it in the streets of Ferguson, to Baltimore, to Minneapolis. When our people demand rights, we're confronted with tanks. So one way to curb that is to take away those weapons. So that's why we're fighting.
Hi, my name is Reverend William Glover. I'm with League Interfaith for Empowerment, a life organization in Fort Myers, Florida. Our greatest win to date has to do with our school district in revitalizing the student code of conduct and addressing the disproportionate number of students of color being referred to alternative learning centers. The student code of conduct book had 52 infractions, and of those 52 infractions, 38 of them, or any combination of 38, could land a student in an alternative center based on the principal discretion. This led to many abuses where principals would use those policies to get students expelled around testing time, because funding was tied to testing and many of those students were low performing students. But through our direct action, we were able to get them to reduce the number of infractions that led to alternative eds to 8, and also required that the district implement independent learning plans, improvement plans for students who were up for being referred to alternative learning centers. In addition to addressing the needs at the center themselves, where too many students spend all day in front of computers working on independent lesson plans, and now through our agreement, those students have direct teacher involvement in their education. So we're very pleased with that work and the number of students who will benefit from it.
Hi, my name is Rosemary Rivera, and I'm the Organizing Director for Citizen Action in New York. And an ideal school to me would look like, in my community, would look like it would begin with an ideal community first. And then it would definitely affect the school. So it would be a community in where, let's say, there's a lot of recidivism and people going to prisons. It would instead be a disinvestment from that community into a community where we would be investing in the whole child from birth to college. We would be talking about childcare. We would be talking about real curriculums. We would be talking about an investment in jobs, an investment in the people of that community. And if that community feels strong, then that school automatically is strong. And that's an ideal school to me with an ideal community.